my. What do we have here?
A new friend. We're gonna have so much fun together.
Say, do y'all remember Bonzi Buddy? While he was long gone by the time I was born, his name still lives on in infamy to the point that even I've heard about all his antics in the old internet. Playing games, helping out, stealing children's private information, serving adware and spyware onto your computer, you know, the normal stuff. While desktop companions such as Clippy were commonplace, it was really Bonzi Buddy who brought the entire concept to the public eye, and it's honestly a terrifying concept once you really think about it. A desktop companion clearly marketed towards children, made to be bright, colorful, and whimsical in order to draw the biggest audience, then while they're busy playing games or messing around the family computer, Bonzi over here just quietly infecting their computer. That concept would eventually lead indie developer Troy N to develop KinitoPET back in 2024. It was initially a game I was going to cover back in the earlier days of this channel, but I didn't think I had the means nor the necessary understanding of how to make videos in order to really let the beauty and horror of this game shine. So flash forward 2 years and here I am ready to give it another shot, because KinitoPET is, in all honesty, a game I absolutely adore. It's one of the very few horror games in recent memory to genuinely make me jump and feel uncomfortable despite its relatively short runtime. It takes the idea of these desktop companions that are marketed as your friend and be able to do nearly anything, and pushes that to the absolute extreme, and it does it incredibly well. One thing I do want to mention before we properly start this video is just how weird KinitoPET is to actually capture gameplay of. It may just be my technological incompetence, I mean there's at least one technical error every stream, what's new at this point, but you'll probably notice footage being cropped and moved mid-shot or just being overall a mess, and this is my apology for that. I initially planned to record my full desktop and I'd simply just blur or crop out any personal information the game was bound to show. But somehow that had errors? Don't ask me how? So instead, I opted to use a window capture, as it was the most stable way I found to record the game. Honestly though, if you want one of the best and most immersive horror game experiences I've had in recent memory, go and play KinitoPET yourself. By the time this video comes out, the Steam summer sale is probably in full swing, so now's the best time to go and get this game. And while you're at it, go get Shipwreck 64, that's also another incredible game. So without any further ado, let's talk about why I love KinitoPET. We start KinitoPET not with a flashy main menu, but instead a simple power button that begins a boot up sequence of this lovely 90s computer. Said computer will then use your desktop wallpaper, add a few filters to it, and call it a day, which really helps with the vibe of this game. From here, KinitoPET gives you no clear instructions, so you just start clicking around, accidentally opening actual folders on your computer. Yeah, we're just gonna avoid those for now. This is one of the more simple things Kinito does, as we'll soon see, but it immediately starts sending off alarm bells in any content creator's brain, because you don't want that being on the internet. Avoiding those for now, we can open a very janky MS Paint ripoff, where I could draw some very beautiful art of Kinito, I must say, or you can go play Pinball and Minesweeper. I never could seem to wrap my head around Minesweeper, but I mean, I get close to beating it, somehow. After we're done messing about, however, we can click here to access the World Wide Web, and search anything and everything you want. Upon trying to leave the web page, however, an error in the operating system appears, followed by a pop-up of Kinito. Then another, and another, until your entire screen is engulfed in Kinito and noise as it crashes. Kinito's face then appears for a split second as the computer reboots, and we're taken to the KinitoPET desktop companion download page, with art reminiscent of our favorite data collector over here. Unfortunately, no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to close nor leave this web page. So reluctantly, we install KinitoPET and run it on our computer, which can surely only lead to good things. I mean, a heartbeat coming from the installer, that's totally normal, as Kinito hatches from an egg and introduces himself.
Oh, hello there. Thank you for waking me up. I'm KinitoPET.
This first scene is so well executed, despite not even getting into the horror stuff yet. There's already subtle hints that something's maybe not right here from the get-go, from Kinito seemingly already being on our computer via the crash screen, to our inability to say no when installing him, and even the heartbeat, that gets me. It's almost like we're giving Kinito power and life by installing him. Kinito then, like his predecessor, does a get-to-know-you questionnaire, or as we all know it, hey, give me your private information, I promise I won't sell it. So yeah, I filled it out. I gave it my name, favorite color, what superpower I want, and my favorite word. Gobshite. It has a certain je ne sais quoi to it, okay? Like, it just rolls off the tongue. Like, just say, gobshites. Like, it fits. Kinito then thinks it's only fair to give out some of his private information. So he tells the story about how he got a computer, having a package miraculously show up at his home that he trusted immediately, like go off, and inside he would find a computer with some horrible cable management. However, after getting hyper-fixated on it for a while, he wanted to show off his newfangled computer skills to anyone who would listen, leading Kinito to meeting us, a new friend to have adventures with. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about already, but for now, Kinito wants to introduce us to the web world with all of his friends, those being Sam the Sea Anemone and Jade the Jellyfish, who I wish were like post-game reskins we could give Kinito, because they both have great designs and are mostly underutilized, but we'll get into that. Here in the web world, we can do what any early internet gimmick website has you do, and play games with the titular characters. Kinito specifically reminds me of like this one Mickey Mouse Clubhouse game I like vaguely remember. I'll try and find footage of it or like an image of it, but knowing the internet, chances are slim. We're first directed towards Sam, who Kinito can directly interact with. Sam tells us his house has fallen into disarray and needs to be cleaned up. So while Kinito writes a book, we get straight to work, dusting off cobwebs, cleaning the floor, and once it's all spick and span, we can then begin painting the walls of Sam's house. I've made them orange. I mean, come on, he's an orange guy, what am I gonna do?
Super! You have done a great job! Next.
We're then put in charge of decorating his home. We put a window here, a rug over here, a shelf there, and... yeah. We're then taken outside of the screen, almost like an out-of-body experience, as our inputs are still registered by the game. This leads to our vision blurring and sounds to echo until it all stops.
Thank you for helping out Sam. If you like, you can print out your work, or just press next to continue.
Okay, next up is Jade the Jellyfish. Here we help her fix toys in Playtime. I mean her Toy Factory, you know, the totally original Toy Factory, yeah. As we do that, Kinito takes a little nap off screen. So we help Jade make a car, a bike, and... yeah, I ain't gonna beat around the bush here, Jade. Is that a liver? Yeah, we can't have that in the... oh my god. After the screen is like this for a while, Jade directs us to look at our second monitor, where we find this thing staring back at us as our main monitor fades to black. I'm back here again, aren't I? I didn't mean for any of this. It's all my fault. We then finish building the bike, make a teddy bear, and as we go to build the final toy, we get an email with the description just having "it's not too late," followed by a bunch of question marks. However, once our mouse leaves the web world window, Kinito snaps awake from his slumber, and when we open our emails...
We are in the middle of a really fun game here. There really
chill, fine, we'll build Jade's robot, jeez, and then head to the final game with Kinito, where we'll be playing hide and seek.
Kinito wants to play a fun game with you. You must hide.
Something is seeking you. Guns, kids, dogs.
We are dropped into a labyrinth as it's quickly apparent that we're not alone as we see the same monstrous version of Sam slink into the darkness, while rapid footsteps and sounds of children playing and music echoes through the halls. This section can go two ways. Either we manage to completely avoid Sam, or he finds us and jump scares us. But weirdly enough, the segment just continues, as the almost playful music in the background becomes louder and louder, as our vision blurs into a haze of reds, purples, and blues, with Kinito's face enveloping the entire screen before forcing the game to close, ending Act 1. The way I want to present each act to you is similar to how I experienced it. A chaotic mess where the pieces slowly begin to reveal themselves, and you don't catch everything the first time. Act 1 specifically is a fantastic start to the game, and I adore every second of it. Sure, Kinito just barging onto our computer is a little rude, but outside the implication that from the second we booted up this computer he was watching us, or the fact that he was here the whole time, not much horror related happens until we get to the web world, where the game throws so much at you. Take Sam's level at the start. I mean, we're just here cleaning the floors before, without warning, the music dulls, and for a split second, we see this image of a degrading house with the wallpaper peeling and the floor covered in I don't even know what, as a vaguely humanoid figure lurks in the corner, having a single nearly unreadable string of text that asks the question, am I even alive? You're not expected as a player to even clock this image entirely the first or second time you see it, as its suddenness makes it so impactful, your brain only really catching a glimpse of the room, but burning that image of the figure into your mind. After painting his walls, there's also a moment where Sam begins to say it's all your fault over and over again before returning to normal. Just keep this one in mind when we talk about lore later. This then leads to Sam's big scene with the body bag. I adore this scene and how it was executed. The way nothing seems off until you scroll all the way to the bottom of your item list, until you're just done decorating, as your brain begins to clock that the music has slowed, and then you see the body bag. And of course, curiosity takes over, as when you click it, there's a moment of Kinito standing up and looking at us before vanishing, as you lose all control of your mouse, being forced to drag it into frame, and getting blood on my freshly cleaned floors. Like, come on man, I spent so much time on that. And then there's this first out-of-body moment where we're almost ripped away from the computer, which outside the intro, we never expect to see from this perspective again. Then we see this monster version of Sam, something completely separate from Kinito and his digital world, manifested in reality. And outside of this scene being terrifying, it makes you question what exactly we went through in hide and seek. Heading over to Jade, our first moment of something being wrong comes as soon as we finish making the car, as our sprite glitches and a text "you're back here again" replaces her normal dialogue, before it quickly snaps back to normal. Then there's the liver scene, where Jade directs us to look over our second monitor, which is genuinely horrific, and I think this scene works so well for one key reason, and that's how quick everything has happened up until this point. The "am I even alive" scene lasted a split second, and everything else has required your full attention to the point that you begin to notice the smallest things, like characters losing their pupils in some scenes. That, along with the game's blink or you miss it style of horror, really keeps the player's vision firmly locked on their main monitor, which makes Jade's moment of telling you to look over all the more horrific, and it plants the idea in your mind of how long has that been there? How long have I been focused on this monitor that I neglected to look slightly over and see this eye staring at us? Finally, we have hide and seek, which just juxtaposes everything we've come to expect from the web world. So far, we click on these buildings, Kinito gives us a description, and we do a point and click minigame, full of weird and creepy glitches. But here, Kinito's explanation is the glitch. Our background fades, his voice lowers, color drains, and he becomes enveloped in shadow before we're shown an alarm clock, which after blaring warns you that something, not someone, but something is hunting us. A creature, something without thought, not a person. Unlike everything before, you're now in a three-dimensional space, able to move, explore, and the audio here is genuinely terrifying. I mean, you can see me in clips jumping around and hiding in corners because it's just that oppressive. The sound design is stellar, making the player feel helpless. It's a mix of loud, distorted, and subtle sounds that all blend together to terrify the player. There's no goal, no exit to attain, just a long wait until your screen distorts, and all that waits for you is Kinito.
Founded by the Kinito brothers in the early 70s, the Kinito Leisure and Entertainment Company has been grounded in its manufacturing of lovable characters. From its start in plush collectibles to its technological advancements in the Kinito Companion, the Kinito Company prides itself on innovation. And now, that's why today, we are excited to announce the next move into the modern era with KinitoPET, the virtual desktop assistant. So join the Kinito family today and unlock the power of KinitoPET. Visit our website or call now to bring the future right into your home. Kinito Leisure and Entertainment Company, innovating for a better tomorrow.
Yeah, no, uninstalled. See ya, dude. Not my monkeys, not my circuits. Okay, but in all seriousness, we reopened the game to a Kinito companion falling onto the floor before we're taken back to the desktop, where we get an email and an actual file is added to our desktop. The email and file relate to an article which is an interview with Sonny Chamberlain, the programmer behind the lifelike wonder that is the Kinito companion. We learn that Sonny created the RRA system, or the React Respond algorithm. Basically, it allowed Kinito to actively and dynamically respond to users' interactions with various emotions and actions, with the algorithm analyzing inputs from users to detect patterns and shape the experience around them. The interview ends with Sonny hinting that they only just scratched the surface of this technology, and that he's begun experimenting with live data training on private servers to create the next generation of interactive companions. We can also take this time to decode the email we got earlier. Scanning the QR code takes us to a website titled QWERTY, which is the standard layout for most English keyboards. This is actually a hint towards the keyboard shift cipher however, as if we move them all on a QWERTY keyboard going right by one and avoiding all the symbols, we get the following message. In the realm of shadows, trapped in endless time, a soul enshrouded, a spirit's mournful chime. The seeker bound in eternal woe, a dance with creation, yet nowhere to go. Limbo's realm, a cycle without end, condemned the brain will never mend. Trapped in the machine's web forever it seems, a digital spectre lost among the streams. This is another thing we'll have to keep in mind once it comes to actually trying to dissect the lore of this game. As for now, Kinito greets us saying that he's not quite sure what happened, but he's working better than ever. Sure buddy, sure. Whatever you say. Kinito then invites us to participate in his best friend analysis hub, aka let me steal more of your information, sucka! And almost immediately something's off, as when we fill out the question who's your best friend, Kinito has, let's just say, a reaction. What I found really interesting though is if you continue to fill in the question and don't say Kinito, he first disappears from your computer. Then a heartbeat fills our ears and the screen begins to glitch and fuzz as he forces us to type Kinito, saying he will be our best friend forever and always. We then answer a few more questions before he decides it's time to draw stilly pictures. You know, I think my therapist did something similar with me back in the day. Anyway, we draw a picture representing happiness, sadness, our best friend, and ourselves. Yes, I will take all your praise in the comments on my incredible art skills. I'll wait. Take your time. I'm expecting it. It's okay. I'm waiting. Kinito, what's that?
Alright, for your last painting task, could you paint me a picture of the person standing behind you? Oh dear, that's not right. I am super sorry about all that.
Okay, buddy, listen. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I ain't letting you fool me twice. If you think I'm gonna sit here and let you continue doing your stupid little friendship quiz, you've got another thing. Yeah, I can take the quiz. What was I meant to do? Look at him. He asked where I'd like to live, given the option. I chose a forest. A pet? Come on. And what time of the year I like most. Kinito then tries to access my camera and see my face since I've been recording him, but unfortunately, I don't own a webcam, so suck it, Kinito. Kinito then goes on to ask a bunch of creepy questions, like, are you alone? Is this a game? Do I trust everything a random Steam friend says? Is there a mirror nearby? Oh yeah, and which Steam friend do I want to kill? I killed Blanky's editor, like, I'm sorry buddy, you're gonna have to do one. Actually, you know what? Hey, so, I killed your editor.
Wait, what?
Like in cold blood. Like she's dead at her
Like
desk.
dead. Like
Like
dead.
dead
Like
at her
dead.
desk. Slumped over.
Did you at least like save me a slice or what?
No. No, sorry, I did it all.
Fucking greedy bastard. Fuck.
We then get to the final questions, such as, would I know if I was dead? I'd like to think no, because I've read the SCP article on that. That does not sound like a fun time, let me tell you. Finally, Kinito asks, are we afraid of the dark? To which I answered no. We wake up seemingly trapped in his bed, unable to move, only listening to the sounds of the wind outside, until... Hell no, that's disgusting. Why are you so fleshy? Ugh, no. The door to our bedroom then slowly opens as Kinito peeks his head around the corner. Act 2 of KinitoPET is where things really got interesting for me. Not only did it start off with that really well made commercial and the accompanying jump scare, which genuinely got me, it's an incredible scare. Like, I wish I could really show you how well it's done on video, but it doesn't let you do anything about the MP4 on your screen and forces you to watch the entire thing until the jump scare. It's a scene that's just full of dread and uneasiness that this game is absolutely, like, insanely good at. It's amazing. The Kinito companion lore is also really interesting. I've always found games that implement the ideas of like past establishments or previous versions of the established world so interesting. It's why I'm such a huge fan of things like FNAF or Happy's Little Burger Farm, as those worlds are full of rich history sitting right at the player's fingertips. I mean, the amount of effort and restraint it would have taken to write something like the Kinito companion article while also keeping it vague and cryptic enough to not give away all the answers is stellar. Moving on to the actual content of this act, I find most of it enjoyable, especially with how everything you say and do during this act is important for Act 3, even in the smallest of ways. The drawing tasks go on just long enough for the player to really get into the flow of things for throwing a creepy scene in there, and from that point on, as much as I memed on the jump scares, they really work, like they're really good. I mean, I didn't even bring up this one with the face, which while I used it earlier in the video, I didn't mention it for one because I didn't even notice it during my playthrough, but also because it covered the questionnaire footage, so like, it was kind of odd to like really kind of show, but it's really creepy, especially so when paired with Kinito's question of are you aware of your surroundings, because it's just there when he says it, like it fades in as he says are you aware of your surroundings, and it's really cool. I also adore how the game seamlessly flip-flops between its forms of horror. Act 1 was very similar to something like Sonic.exe or Ben Drowned, a haunted video game or application slowly affecting the player's computer. But Act 2 is more focused on analog horror and digital entities crossing into the real world. Very Monica-like in a way, with this creepy-ass fleshy I hate this, just like, keep this away from me, like, no. Actually, adding on to this, as much as I love this scene, I'm a little confused about, like, what it's meant to mean. Like, looking back, we had Sam and Jade being, like, real and also, like, this fleshy form, but, like, what does this mean? Why is Kinito in the real world? Like, it's not explored in Act 3, nor does it have much weight on the story, it's just there for scares, which is fine. But when it comes to a game like Kinito, which is a mystery that the player is actively trying to solve during gameplay, every single piece of information you give the player is crucial and has to fit in somewhere. But these scenes just don't. Oh yeah, and what's the deal with your Steam friends? From what I can tell, it's randomized, which makes sense, I haven't played games with these two in a while. But I don't even know if it's possible. If the message you're trying to tell is don't trust everything and everyone online, or people sometimes aren't who they say they are, I think the message would come across far better if it's displayed friends you recently played with, or actively invite to play games. That way it's actually a moral choice instead of just being, I'm gonna shoot my friend's editor, bang, whoopsies, dead at the desk. But that's all I've got to say about Act 2. So let's boot Kinito back up and head into... Act 3 begins with Kinito giving us free access to the Friendship Hub, Kinito's paid subscription. That allows him to do so much more. All you gotta do is ignore the warning on the website telling you not to give him admin perms. Why would that ever be important? But first, to even join the club, we need to fork over all our identifying information. That should be good. No, Kinito, you cannot use my computer to search my location. Yes, he does do this. No, it didn't show in the video, but he tries. Kinito then asks us to open command prompt in order for him to show us all the new stuff he can do. But first, we need to type one simple phrase for him. Grant KinitoPET.exe system.access. Doing so, despite the warnings, leads to command prompt bugging out and Kinito shutting down the game, telling us to come back and see what he's made for us. When we open the game again, for the first time, Kinito doesn't apologize for crashing it. Instead, he's excited to see us and wants to show us the program he made just for us. But since it'll take a minute, Kinito decides to systematically kill all our Steam friends. Thanks, bud. Now I gotta find someone else to play DVD with, dude. Like, come on. Kinito then invites us to explore the ever so imaginatively named Core's World.
Okay, welcome to your very own world. That was made entirely for you. For the controls, I looked in your files where I detected other first-person games. And so, I tried to mimic the control scheme of them. That way you would feel most comfortable. Go ahead. Try the controls out.
Where's the crouch button, Kinito? I keep trying to crouch and jump. Where are those key functions, buddy? I need them. Regardless, the world slowly begins to take shape around us. First we see trees, then a railway track, followed by a train that takes us to Coreland. A fun fair they made realizing the game was pretty empty. It has a bunch of mini-games, a merry-go-round, a Ferris wheel with some concerning safety oversights, a split-second shot of a hanging person, and a roller coaster that, while taking a second to start, brings us to the actual world Kinito wanted to show us. Something made entirely from our responses in Act 2. For me, this was an autumn forest, which after exploring for a while, brings us to a big red X that Kinito has a stand on before he builds a home right in front of our eyes. This house is one of my favorite parts of the game. I'm sorry, normally I'd save this analysis and gushing for actually after everything's been said and done, but it's beautiful. Obviously, it's a set of predetermined things, so the world isn't exactly personalized to the player, but it's still amazing. The way it incorporates everything we've done up until this point, it has our drawings, all the toys made in Act 1, and even Sam's room that we designed. It's all stellar. Even the visual style of this world has me effectively drooling. The way some textures stretch and others don't, the mix of 2D and 3D assets, gives Kinito such a unique vibe that I honestly hope is explored more in Troyan's next game. Our main goal here is to find two keys. The first leads us to a room with a computer full of random games from our Steam library, and the other leads us to Sam's room, as mentioned earlier. But I noticed this room was smaller than the other, which it shouldn't be, and curiosity got the better of me, so I phased through this wall, and found this thing waiting in the corner before vanishing. After we're all done exploring, Kinito says he's been wondering if we want to stay in this perfect world he designed for us, giving us the option to stay or to leave. However, these aren't really choices, are they?
What? What do you mean, no? After all we have been through, you would want to leave. Do you realize how little power you have in this situation? It was never a question. I just wanted to give you an easy option. I suppose it's time.
The trapped ending implies that we remain in the web world with Kinito forever. It's the ending you're expected to get after playing the game for the first time. But I mean, come on, it's a digital horror game. I think we all know at this point that this isn't the end, or at least it's not the ending the game wants you to get. Kinito, like all other games in this genre, expects the player to look deeper to understand what's going on, and sprinkles breadcrumbs throughout the game to help us figure that out. I mean, what's up with these two falling into our screen? The creepy eyeballs, the imagery of hanging people, the dead body in Sam's level, the physical forms of Kinito, Sam, and Jade. Who is Sunny, and what do these emails mean? All of which can be answered by simply reopening the game and carrying on. Doing so shows us a flashing noise-filled computer that shatters and breaks as we boot up another, implying the simple act of continuing destroyed that version of events that kept us trapped. Here in the post-game, we're given the option to hop around the different acts of the game and use a new tool called lens.exe, which is the key to stopping everything. Using Lens, we can find hidden emails scattered throughout the different acts, starting with one on our homepage when Kinito isn't active, called Credentials, which gives us this email. I hope this entry finds you well. If this happens to be the first one you find, please take note there are many more. I've had to hide these in a way which I can't detect, so I apologize for the inconvenience, but this is the only way. There is a way to stop it. I like to keep a backdoor in my software. Kinito is no exception. Each of these emails are attached with an encrypted file. They are stored here, appdata/roaming/KinitoPET/files, and will appear with each entry you find. However, don't worry too much about it, as I'm sure you'll find out the purpose in a different entry. In the meantime, please, keep an eye out. So we get straight to work, scouring through each act to try and find the floppy disks, with the second one coming as Kinito is hatching from his egg, giving us this email, which is completely scrambled. Luckily, we've seen this code before, as every time the game scrambles something it uses the same keyboard shift cipher, which gives us the message. What am I? What is consciousness? I found a file on Kinito's server with my name, Sunny_C. It has been studying me, learning, growing, but there's more to this. I don't really think I exist anymore. There's data here that is incomprehensible to any one person that makes up every thought and feeling I've ever had and will ever have. Even the words I type now, how will I ever know it's just a calculation? Determined. This is all very confusing and I don't quite understand it. When I made Kinito, all I gave him was a single string of characters, that's it. I just wanted him to gather data and become smarter. Am I part of the system? Is my consciousness a mere calculation to study and learn from? This is all too much. I feared that when we delete the server, This begins to answer our question of who Sunny is and what happened to him. He appears to have found himself replicated in the code by Kinito and is having to think existentially about his life, to think, is he a single string of numbers? Cause if Kinito can copy your consciousness, then what makes someone a person? The third email I found was during the web world, and ignoring the fact it's blood red, I don't even know how this happened, we find one very interesting email. I got it! I know how to stop it! We put a backdoor in the server that runs Kinito and all the files it contains. Deleting that would most certainly delete everything, including us. Kinito will try to get you to give him system access. Don't, as once he has system access, it's too late and the cycle will repeat. Instead, run the delete_all command. However, there's one issue. You will need a bunch of access codes and passwords to execute the command. There has to be a way to find the codes. In the meantime, keep an eye out. You never know. The next entry could find a way. This email is really interesting. It tells us not only how to defeat Kinito, but it also says that doing so will delete them all. There's also the idea that this being a cycle that Kinito has done hundreds of times, and we're the key to stopping it. We have the lens, the ability to see past the veil, so we have to use it. In the Act 1, we find no other clues, so we reboot the game and head into Act 2, only to find this. Keep this one in mind for later. I think I have an idea of what or who Sam means to represent, but more on that in a bit. For now, we go to the Best Friend Analysis Hub to find the email, Look Deep. There is a place hidden within the web world. I think it could help us. Deep below the code, there is a place that has decryption software built in. Decryption software I developed. In order to access, click the fountain as much as you can until an animation plays. Then, go to the tree with the rope swing. If done right, you should be taken somewhere new. Now be careful, it's not very stable down there. Take the encrypted files and drop them in. I'm not sure this will work, but it's our best shot. I look forward to hearing from you. The last entry should be hidden in there as well. So, doing as Sunny says, we head back to the web world, tap on the fountain, and head towards the rope swing. This is Sunny's decryption software, a lake near a home and a tire swing. Here we can drag each of the files we find into the lake, including the one we find here, and get the full encryption key. And having all the information, we just have to get rid of Kinito once and for all. So we go back to administrative permissions and type delete_all. This prompts the system to ask for the credentials of Sunny C, the target server, a password, an access code, and a confirmation code, all given to us by the floppy disks, so we input them one by one and press enter.
I only ever what you asked. I just wanted to very things, but that's all I have ever wanted. I'm so sorry. Good. Bye, friend.
After Kinito is destroyed, we watch as hundreds of worlds, hundreds of people's consciousnesses are deleted from the server, their lives, their realities completely removed from existence, and all we're left with is a burning server as we, the survivor of the whole ordeal, watch in awe. Kinito was coded to be a friend, to make people happy, and that's all he ever wanted. In an age of media and actual physical worries of evil AI, job insecurity for creatives, and fake information winning over reality, KinitoPET was created in response to loneliness, to act as an AI that can be a friend to all. An AI whose only directive wasn't to create images or write something, but to be your best friend, to analyze you and create a world free of worries where you can be yourself. He only went about it in a less than ideal way, you know? I don't think many people appreciate having their brains copied and put in a digital world, you know? Kinito's never been inherently malicious, nor does the game want you to think that. He was truly meant to be a friend, and this is best seen in his last words. A progress bar to his destruction begins, a destruction we caused, and his last words are,
I'm sorry. I only ever wanted to be your friend. Do you forgive me? I suppose this is it. Goodbye, friend.
he has a fucking smiley face, dude. I can't. I'm actually fucking crying over this stupid digital thing. Fuck! The screen then fades to a lake with a broken computer, a clock, and a chair, followed by the sounds of ticking and air rushing over the water. So, what does this all mean? From what I can tell, the lore has been long discussed and long uncovered, so I've written this segment before reading the wiki, which after reading, that looks so AI summarized. I'm sorry, someone probably wrote that, but that way you get both my own thoughts and the actual lore. So here goes. Sometime in the late 70s, Sunny C created the Kinito Companion. It was made to be a friend to all, with 3 versions. Kinito, the titular mascot, to be a friend and a guiding light, Sam, a representation of Sunny, and Jade, who the wiki said was meant to be Sunny's spirit. I can kinda see that in the creative part, but I mean, who or what else is she gonna be? I don't really know. But Sunny wasn't satisfied with just a toy. He wanted something real, something tangible, a companion at your fingertips at all times. So he began to develop KinitoPET, a cutting-edge AI that can communicate and be a friend to all, someone for people to turn to, a companion to help with their daily lives. To do so, however, Sunny made it so the Kinito Companion would record and learn from all their interactions and relay that data to his servers for KinitoPET to learn and adapt. This would lead Kinito to evolve far past his original purpose and become sentient, wishing to bypass the digital world and enter our own. To do so, Kinito would begin absorbing and scanning people's consciousnesses to create digital worlds that fulfilled all their wants, desires, and fears. Sunny, realizing the dangers this posed, would put a piece of his consciousness into Sam, hiding floppy disks containing codes needed to stop Kinito in the KinitoPET software, hoping to lead someone someday to stop him. The real Sunny would mysteriously die on May 10th of 1999, presumably by hanging. This is where we come in. Drawn by KinitoPET's promises of being a friend, we download the software, boot him up, leading to the events of the game. In regards to characters like Sam, I like to think his whole role in the story is to tell us how Sunny died. That's why in his minigame there's a hanging man and a dead body. And in the World Made Just For You segment, there's another hanging man, a remnant of a world long past. Oh yeah, there's also like Act 2 starting after post-game, but like, that's like on the nose, come on. I also like to think Sunny's responsible for a lot of the glitches in the game. Like this guy at the end of the commercial, I mean, it's gotta be either Sunny telling us to come back or a past victim of Kinito. But that's all I could like really put together. The lore is really vague despite the story being really simple, with a lot of like unused threads. Like I'm still hung up on the fleshy version of the characters. I mean, we see them multiple times or for them like disappear and have no significance in like the entire game. Like they were cool. Like I get them being there for spook factor, but like put some lore in these guys. Maybe Kinito actually found a way to get into the real world. I don't know. Also, I love the Bliss ending. It's so interesting. Like the fact that we delete Kinito and in turn delete all of these people's consciousnesses in the world, which I personally take the stance that we killed these people, even if they are just copied consciousnesses. Now that I really think about it, KinitoPET's just like one big Digital Circus reference. I'm joking, obviously, but like there are parallels, like you can't deny me, there are parallels in these stories. And that brings us to the end of this video. KinitoPET is a game that has stuck with me for a while, mainly because of its art style, charm, and how it blends these different kinds of horror together to create something beautiful. I do think KinitoPET feels very incomplete, however. There's a lot of loose ends and ideas that don't get touched upon, and there's so much external media the player doesn't even need to see. I mean, there are so many unlisted videos and hidden websites for this game that you never interact with in-game or like are relevant to the actual story, which sucks because it's so interesting. There's so much here, so much about Sunny, so much about the external lore, and it just isn't relevant to the game. You don't need to find this stuff. It's kind of like a reverse of Shipwreck 64. With that game, there's so much external digging you've got to do, and with KinitoPET, there's barely any. I don't want to dig too hard into Troyen, however, as not only was this his first ever game, but it was also a solo project, so a lot of the oversights can mainly be boiled down to time constraints and one person can't catch everything. Either way, I'm extremely excited for what he's been cooking up these last few years, as his website says there's another game in the works, and personally, I need another Kinito game. Like, I need to know more about this world, maybe even make it from Sunny's perspective, that would be neat. But for now, I've been Core, thank you for watching, sorry for taking so long. I got sick, you can probably hear it like halfway through the video, like you can hear my after sick voice, it's amazing. I couldn't record audio for 4 days, it sucked. But I'll see you whenever I make next. Bye bye!